Hi there, and welcome back. We are moving into some more advanced concepts. We're looking at what I'm calling advanced percents, and I want to walk you through some of the more complicated problems that you may encounter. Not that they're going to be a whole lot more difficult. If you have mastered what we've done so far, you'll do just fine. I just want you to be aware of them and how to solve them if you find them. So if you're on page 40, you're looking at the cover of this module. So let's turn over to page 41 and do this first assignment. So we're looking at percent of change. And this is another real life application of percents because percents increase or decrease. There is a process for finding a percent of change. So just to give you some examples of ways that this can happen, the price of gas may have dropped 10%, or an average temperature increased 5%. My SAT score increased 8%, or my car's value depreciated 3.5%. So there are constantly changes in percentage rates, and we need to be able to calculate what the percentage of change is. And you may be thinking that I left out the math rule. It looks like I did, but I actually put it right there. So the math rule this time is this part. It's the formula that we're going to be using where we calculate the percent of change. And the best way that I can show you this is to just do it. I think me trying to explain it is going to make it a lot harder than it needs to be. So let's look at example 1. When the gym opened, the weekly rate was $17.99. So that's $17.99 per week, $17.99 per week. Now it is $24.95 per week. So find the percent of change. And with all word problems, you want to notice your question. So they're wanting me to apply this formula. And here's the catch with this. You have to figure out which was the original and which is the new value. So let's think about when we went to the gym when it opened. What was the price per week? That would have been the original, and that was $17.99. The new price is $24.95. So would you agree with me that this percentage has increased? This is a percent of increase. But to do the problem, you must have this formula, and I'm going to copy it right down here. The percent of change, and eventually I will start abbreviating this, but for now I want you to see it written out. The percent of change equals, and then you draw this big long fraction bar. The new amount, which we said is $24.95, minus the original that we said was $17.99. And then the original always goes on the bottom of this fraction. Okay, so to set this up, you literally just follow the formula. Percent of change equals the new amount minus the original over the original. And the bad news here is that you have to memorize that orange formula. Most tests are not going to tell you how to do that because that's what they're testing to see if you know. So let's say that percent of change equals, and on my calculator I'm going to say 24.95 minus 17.99 equals $6.96. So that was the actual change, dollar-wise. And then remember, we're dividing it by $17.99, so just hit divide. 17.99 equals, and you get something pretty ugly. That's okay. because we're going to round this and say about 0.39 or 39%. So this was a pretty substantial increase. They went up pretty significantly on their weekly rate, almost half. 50% would be half. So if you're talking about money that you have to pay out, this is a pretty significant change. So the percent of change is 39% approximately for this problem. Okay, here's another one. At the first of the year, the monthly fee to join a class drops from $32.99 to $29.99. Find the percent of change. So as soon as I see percent of change, I need that formula. That's really the only way to calculate a percent of change. So if you see that, you're going to need this recipe, this formula that is pretty complicated. If you're not used to formulas, I do see that that can be a challenge. But it's always the new minus the original, and the original will always be on the bottom. You never have to worry about that. So to set this up, I'm going to say percent of change equals, and I should have done this over here. I think that's pretty important that you stop and think about what the two are. So what was it to start with? Well, it was $32.99 originally. And they dropped the price. They allowed us to save money. So the new price is lower than the original. So just get those two figured out before you try to tackle the formula. Even if you don't write them down, just make sure you know which is which. So 29.99 minus 32.99, and then the original is on the bottom. And so we do the math. 20.99 minus 32.99 equals, and don't panic, I know it looks funny, you come up with a -3. That's because the price dropped. So we would expect a negative number here. So 32.99 was the original. That's going to go on the bottom. And so go ahead and divide that -3 by the $32.99. And you get negative 0.090936 and a bunch of other junk. I don't know. But we're going to take it to the nearest percent. So 0.9. So this is about 9% decrease. That's what the negative number means, a decrease. If you're getting a negative here, that's a percent of decrease. If you're getting a positive, like we did above, that's an increase. So that sign is going to help you decide if your increase is, if your change is an increase or a decrease. Okay, assignment 7 is here at the bottom. I want you to find the percent of change. Round your answers to the nearest whole number if necessary. And I will see you back in the next video, and we will go over those together. Okay?